Hello and whoa. Welcome back to Marta's Planning Mess. We're going to do a quick overview of my Hobonichi weeks, which is my meal and fitness planner, because I have just made a little bit of a change to my layout. And so I thought that might be interesting for some people. Okay. So that is, let's see if we can find, okay, this is this week. This is the layout I normally use. I use these horizontal sections to write down my 3 meals, and I like to track my macros. So I've got this section over here for writing those out for each meal. And then this section right here is for my averages, which I need to catch up this week. I pre-planned everything, and aside from making the wrong meal here, anyway, I have to fix this day, and then I have to add in this day because I knew these 2 days would probably, I was eating out, I didn't know what we were going to do, and so I didn't finish those, but I've got today and the weekend figured out. Anyway, I need to go through and update this, but this is kind of the layout that I had. This over here is tracking how much water I get, and this is, I'm doing some stretching exercises, and so this is kind of a tracker for that, to keep up with that. And I have done this layout since the beginning of December, and it works well for me, but I have been, of course, looking at the internet and seeing all these really cool Hobonichi Week spreads. I mean, people that aren't necessarily even using this to track their meals or their fitness or anything. And so, you know, FOMO hits, fear of missing out. And so I was like, maybe I can scrunch it down, because if I could get all of this information on this page, it would free up some space here. So that is what I attempted to do, and I think I was somewhat successful. Now, I'm used to writing tiny, and this pen, and this is the Hobonichi pen, they have a very, this is the ink. It's 0.3 or 0.4, something like that. That's not necessarily printed on the pen to know exactly, but when I use a 0.3 ultra fine, let's see if I have one. Yeah, this is a 0.3. This is a Pentel Energel liquid ink. I'm just going to do a little smiley face there. Well, it's not coming out because I haven't used this for a while. You can see it writes real ultra fine, so you can work in here. And I usually plan this section with pencil because of, the mistakes I can make. Like I wrote over this one in pen because I had to redo, we ended up getting fast food on the way home rather than eating like I had planned because we had an unexpected shopping thing we needed to do. So having the pencil there, it saves me from using whiteout, so I'll just go and erase that. I have to, fluff this and make this finished for the week. So I divided this up into 4 instead of 3. So I have this yellow line here is for my averages. So, and I put the macros over in this section instead of them being over here. So everything, this and this is now all fitting here. So what did I have left? These 3 things. So put I move the picture around because it's something I tape in, and you can see I didn't do one this week. It was on my list of things to do, and I kept forgetting every single morning. I don't always remember to do it, but I'm trying to move it around in the planner so that I don't like a chunky section anywhere. So put it here, and then I put, here's my water. No, this is for sleep. I usually track sleep somewhere else, but I thought even if I have to double plan that, which is not a big deal at all, it goes along with my fitness and my meals and general health. I kind of want it here. So I put the water in here, and I put my little stretching exercise thing there. Then it was like, I would kind of like to see a chart of the macros. Like this was my first week. I've been tracking them pretty consistently, but I wasn't necessarily making sure they added up to what they should. It was just, I'm going to track it get in that habit of tracking, because if you go from doing absolutely nothing to suddenly tracking and planning and making sure everything meets up, it can be so overwhelming that you want to quit. And I know myself and my personality. So I try and add things in layers. So like at this point in time, I kind of know how to balance my meal. So it's, low fat, high protein, and average amount of carbs, but my brain doesn't always right on as far as portions and that sort of thing. So this is my first week when I was like, I'm going to weigh this out. I'm going to make this all work out and have it all add up, except for the couple places where I've thrown in some meals that weren't in the plan. So I had a point to saying all this. Because of all this, I haven't really sat down and looked, did my macros add up? Like everything here, this is the average for all the days. Is this where I want to be? I didn't even write down my goals anywhere of what I wanted it to be. So this little chart here is going to help me. And I think I set this up and I might change it. I wish I'd done this in pencil. Hindsight is 20/20, right? And I may just do it with a different color. I tried doing, this is black, this is blue, and this is red. So for carbs, protein, fat, because those are the colors of this pen here. But it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the blue and the black. But what I think I will do is I'll do them in that order. Well, usually my order is carbs. I didn't write it up here. Carbs, fat, protein, and these are calories. Oh, I didn't do anything to track calories. No biggie. Okay, so that was this. And I like having this here. So then I was like, my watch has started tracking this year, or within this week. It started giving me a score for my energy level, which is good because I kind of like to track my energy level and just kind of invent one in my head. I feel like I am at this or that today. So now I have a place to track the data from my watch. So then I was like, okay, what am I going to use in this section for? So I was like, well, what are the other health exercise kind of things that I do? So weight training is something I just downloaded an app for that because I've been happy with using the stretching app. Like, okay, I need to use an app for weight training. So I have something nagging at me. So I downloaded that this week, but I have felt so rotten this week with some stomach issues, etc., that I have not started this week, but it's set up for this coming week. So I've got a place here to track my weight. I have a big tracker for weight here in the back. Let's see. Where are we? Here we go. But this is like, it gives me about 10 more pounds I could technically gain and still stay on the scale. But in theory, I want it to go down somewhere in this section. So I'm wanting to see that over a year's time. But it's kind of interesting during the week to see where it goes. So I've got it between like 1 pound here and like quarter pound segments to see. Because, some days you're up and down a little bit. So that's what that little chart is for. Here I've got one, and there's 7 columns here, even though, yeah. And then I've got a place where I can mark if I did my weight training that day. I guess maybe just color the column. This isn't perfect, but this is kind of what I came up with. And then I've got one for to track my steps. So I've got 10,000, which is my goal, 8, 6, 4, and 2. And, a day that I don't really try, I should at least get 2. But that's at the bottom of my scale. I'm not in love with how this went. And like I said, I wish I had done it in pencil. But I'll get this raw data out here. And then next week, I will have a place to put that information. Now, this is just on a side note. When I'm planning my meals, this comes as a pad. These two things are together. It's like this, and it's just like this much longer. It's a Post-it brand, and I love Post-it. I stick exclusively with Post-it because they you can put it on and off and it doesn't peel and curl up. It keeps its shape and it keeps its stickiness. So I just cut those in half, trim off the bottom, and I've got a place to do my grocery list while I am meal planning. So that has worked quite well. Then this book goes with me to the grocery store, and when I'm done, I can just rip those out. So I usually do a couple weeks worth at a time and just have them stuck in there on the week that I'm not messing with. So that is a little bit of a change, and I am really hopeful and excited that this is going to be a fun thing for me to do, and not just be everything about meals. So we will see how all of that goes. As you can see, I'm usually really good at the beginning of the week, tracking things like water, and then by the weekend, and that usually it's kind of the end of the day. So Friday night, I'm forgetting. Saturday night, I'm forgetting. Sunday night, I'm forgetting. And then Monday comes the next week, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I am doing well with my water. I'm usually getting at least 4 to 6 consistently cups of water a day, and I don't really drink anything but water. So, yeah, I usually do pretty well, even though I'm not as good at writing it down. Anyway, hope this was interesting. There are tons of people that use Hobonichi Weeks. You can see all different kinds of setups and layouts for them. And I hope this is something that can give you some ideas on how to keep track of your health in this adorable planner that is just the cutest, slimmest thing. This is a regular Weeks, not the Mega. So happy trails. Hope you get some information from this that will help you in your own journey.